Hello friends, this is in continuation to the control flow statements we have just started from the last video. Control flow statements offered by Java programming language. And in the first part we have covered what they are and why we should use them. But the most vital factor is when we should go for it. So this is very vital because the programmer has to decide which statement should be used at what point of time so that we can get maximum benefit out of it. So instead of saying how to use it, the most vital part is when to use it, and we have also discussed when to use this control flow statements. After then we have discussed different control flow statements offered by Java. In that discussion we have clearly covered there are few control flow statements. Those are called as selection statement, some statements are called as looping statement, and some statements are called as branching statement or jumping statement, like that, like we have discussed, right? And in the selection statements we are also called this selection statement as decision making statement. Here we have two options, one is if, one is switch, right? And in the first part we have discussed something about if, when we should go for if, what are the advantages of using this if statement, and what are the different format of using this if statement, how if statement can be used in all different formats. We'll also look more into this in this video. So before getting into the different formats or different conclusions about if statement, I'd like to share a few more things. I'll try to recall few more things. There we have discussed about very important part. That particular part might be very important for your interview room, or maybe for your semester exams. The questions like, can you please differentiate between constant expression and variable expression? Or the questions might ask you the question, can you please tell us the difference between compile time constant or runtime constant? Compile time constant and runtime constant, see, both are same, right? So I think we have answered this question. If in case you missed this video, please go to that previous video, complete that video and come back here so that we can take this one into a different level, right? Okay, thank you. Next, what we will do, we will discuss more about this. In the last class we have clearly seen how if can be used. Now today's video is completely dedicated to different conclusions of if statement, right? In this conclusion everything we'll see in the form of hands-on activities. We'll write a program and we'll find a conclusion. Again we'll write a program, we'll find a conclusion, because I don't want you to trust only on my words. You have to trust your compiler, you have to trust your JVM. So if your JVM and compiler says it right, you have to believe on that, right? So without wasting time, let us go for that. So the part that we are going to cover today is only about few more points about your if statement. So before going into that, let me recall few things. We have discussed if can be used as a simple if followed by test with one statement or with multiple statement. If we want multiple statement, we can go for a curly braces. This is the first format. In the second format, we have seen if can be used with else statement. If statement, then followed by else. Third, we have discussed about nested if, and the fourth one we have also discussed about if, else followed by if. So few different formats of if we have already discussed. Now today we'll be looking into all those aspects but in a different way, right? We'll see the tricky part of this particular one. So without wasting time, let us go for that, right? If I'll write a simple program, I think you all can able to understand. Suppose I am writing a code like this. class test, public, you can make it public or you can go for normal class, doesn't matter, right? So what I'll do, I'll write, let's say a is equal to 10 followed by b is equal to 20. Suppose I'm writing if a greater than b, if I'm writing system dot out dot print or println, whatever it is. Suppose I am writing a. Now all of you can easily say what will be the output. You will say, sir, the output will be like you have declared two local variables, a and b, and the value of a is 10, value of b is 20. If we evaluate this one, 10 is greater than 20, that is absolutely false. So since this is false, no output will be there, right? No output will be there. Let us cross check this one, then we'll move forward. This is very simple, right? Let us compile this program, Java C test.java. Code compiles absolutely fine. There should not be any issue. Followed by, let us execute the program, Java test, and we see no output is there. So if you want to see the output, let me go for let me write like this, a less than b. Now you can say, sir, we definitely the value of a will be getting printed because the condition will be true. Yeah, that's fine. That absolutely fine. Now let us do some kind of things, some kind of change in it. Now can you please tell me, this is a very vital question, very simple question yet dangerous question for your interview room. Suppose by mistake I have written a semicolon here. Now my question is, listen very carefully. My question is whether this is a valid statement or an invalid statement. If I compile this particular program, whether my compiler will compile it fine or it will say, boss, you have made a mistake. So 80%, 80 to 90% of the people, of the students says, sir, this is invalid, because what we cannot do, we cannot put a semicolon inside in if, because we need some body of if and else, right? Make sure, if you are thinking like that, you are making a huge mistake. You are making a huge mistake, because whenever you are putting a semicolon, why semicolon is used in Java program? Semicolon is called as a terminator, right? Semicolon always called as a terminator of the statement. So whenever I am putting a semicolon here, I repeat, whenever I am putting a semicolon here, immediately my compiler sense, compiler can understand, boss, this is done here, and this particular statement does not belongs to if. Doesn't matter whether this condition is true or false, this statement will be executed 100%, because this is not now a part of if. If will be terminated here. This kind of if you can say if without a body. If statement without a body, right? This is absolutely valid. Let us cross check. If I compile this program, my code will compile fine. If I run this program, definitely I am going to get that statement 10, right? If you want to cross check, if I have to go for the reverse way, see the condition is false now. Doesn't matter the condition is true, doesn't matter the condition is false, that particular statement will be executed, right? So the first conclusion is, this part is optional, right? But I can specify, or we can specify semicolon immediately after if. But if we are specifying, the result will be completely different. What the result will be? It will be treated as if without a body, right? And that's the statement after if definitely does not belongs to if. It is a normal statement after the if, right? This is the first conclusion. You can take a note of it. Now, let us go for the second one. Let us go for the second one. What exactly the second one is? Suppose, let me remove this one. Fine. Now, the second one, I am writing system.out.println A followed by system.out.println B. Now, you can see this particular condition is of course false, because 10 is greater than 20. This is false forever, right? And if I execute this particular program, you will say, sir, this is false. So the statements present after if will be executed. But you should remember, these two statements are not enclosed within curly braces. That means what is going to happen? The first statement will belong to if. The second statement doesn't belongs to if. That means doesn't matter if the condition is true or false. Suppose this is false. This but first line will not be executed, that's for sure. But the second line does not belongs to if. So regardless of this is false, regardless of this is true, doesn't matter. This 100% will be going to be executed. So never get confused the way you are writing. Only you have to stick to the rules. If you are not writing any curly braces, only one statement is allowed in if, that is the immediate statement after if statement, right? Let us cross check. The code will compile absolutely fine. Let us execute this program. It will print 20. Which statement is getting printed? The second statement will be getting printed because this one is false. And if the condition will be true, then both the statements will be getting printed, right? That is next part. And in the last video, we have also discussed, if there will be no curly braces, only one statement is allowed, but that statement cannot be a declarative statement, right? All these parts we have already discussed. Now, here what I want if the condition is true, A should be displayed, otherwise B should be displayed. Now, this is the second part. What we said? We said if we are writing this, if this will be true, one part will be executed, if this will be false, the second part will be executed, right? This is quite simple. This is again the simple format. If I execute this program, definitely I'll get one of them, not both of them, right? I'm getting 20. Since this particular condition is false, what it will say? The second one will be printed, right? So you can take this program as we are in a process to find out the highest value among these two numbers. If A is greater than B true, then A will be highest, otherwise B will be highest, right? This is quite simple. And in this particular program, you can imagine, or you can see, you can notice curly braces are not used. That means this particular statement belongs to if, and this statement is also belongs to else, right? So if I am writing any other statement, then accordingly it will be. Now let us write something here. Suppose I am writing here system dot out dot print, or maybe println. I am writing done, or I am writing hello here. Now my question is, what will be the output of this program? What will be the output of this program? By the rule, what we know, if you are writing something like this, what we can do, we can take only one statement maximum. So this particular statement does not belongs to if, right? Now my question is, if this is not belongs to if, whether this else is placed at a right location, or there is some compilation error. We need to answer this question, right? Make sure if you are writing something like this, immediately your compiler says if will be terminated here, and if else has to be written, remember it should be written immediate after the termination of the if block. If you want to write, you can take a note of this. If you want to write an else block or an else block, that else block should be written immediate after the termination of the if block. Otherwise, you will get a compilation error. It will say misplaced else or else without if. If you want to cross check, we can cross check. Let us cross check this one. 100% pakka we are going to get an error. What it says? You can clearly say else without if. What that does mean? It is finding an else, but if is not there. But you will say, sir, we have already written if. Why the compiler behaves like that? It's very simple. Compiler says, boss, you are not written any curly braces. So as per the rule, I am taking only this one as the statement of if. And after the if is terminated, I didn't find any else. And for this else, we didn't find any if. So the error is right here. The error is right here. You cannot write like this, right? So make sure you understand this point. Conclusion is, if you want to write the else part in if, make sure that else part is always present immediately after the completion of the if block, right? Okay. There should not be any statement in between the termination of the if block and starting of the else block. There should not be any statement. If in case there will be any statement, you will get a compilation error. We have just noticed. Now, let me remove this one. Now this is fine. Now let us go for the other one. So what I have done, by mistake I have written a semicolon here. Now what is going to happen? Whether this is a valid statement or this is an invalid statement. Now you have to observe, right? Same, because we have already discussed this one. If you are writing something like this, that means this if block is terminated here. Once there will be semicolon after the conditional part, we have already discussed, that will be treated as termination of if block. Now the question is, after the termination of if block, whether else is the next immediate statement? No, not at all. So if block is completely terminated here and else is started here. So for this else, we don't have any if. So immediately you can say, sir, we are going to get the same result. Of course, yes, we are going to get the same result. Same, no problem at all. So both those, I think both the part, all of you could able to understand, right? But if you want to go for more than one statement, we can happily go for more than one statement like this. System.out.print or println hello. We can have number of statements if you want to put that in a curly braces, right? Same thing for else. Let me change the reverse one. I want to find out the minimum of two values. Now let us compile. My code will definitely compile fine without any problem. If you see what I'm getting is 10 followed by hello. If you can observe, a less than b, this is completely false, true. So these two statements, why these two statements, not one statement? Because that those are enclosed within curly braces, right? Now these are the simple format of if we have just discussed, and we have also discussed the different things that we can do with if. And if we write something else like semicolon after condition and the statements we have already seen, accordingly it will behave, right? And again the most important part you should understand, else cannot exist without if, but the reverse one is true. If can be present there alone without the help of or without the presence of else statement, right? So I think both these parts are pretty clear to all of you, right? So in this scenario we can go for solving lot of problems, right? We can go on solving lot of problems, like to finding out whether the inputted number is a leap year or not, to find out, let's say we are going for one more program is like, let us find out highest among three numbers. You can say, sir, what we can do, we can go for a greater than b and a greater than c. If this will be true, what we can say, a is the highest, right? A is the highest. Next what we can do, we are going for if only. We are not writing else here. Let's see. If we are writing again here, b greater than a followed by b greater than c, we can say, sir, which one is highest? Of course, which one is highest? B is the highest. Similarly, if you write c greater than a followed by c greater than b, you can say, sir, c will be the highest, right? Okay. If you compile this program, the code will completely, of course, compile fine, and we can say the highest is 40. If you can cross check, The highest number among all the three numbers that we have taken is 40, right? But here, this program can be optimized. The number of codes can be reduced. How many ifs we have used here? Yes, how many ifs we have used here? We have used here three ifs. Means three comparisons have to be made mandatorily. First one, if this one will be false. If this one will be executed first. If this is true, this statement will be displayed. Even if this condition is true or false, this has to be evaluated. Even if both of them are true or false, this one will be evaluated. This is not efficient program. This is not efficient programming, right? So what we can do, we can go for, yes, multiple ifs. How we can write that? We can write that something like this. Suppose I am writing if followed by else, right? Again followed by else. So if I am writing else, the last condition I do not require. How it will be behave like? The first part will be evaluated. If this is true, then this particular statement will be executed. The part is over. No remaining part will be going to be executed. It will be immediately coming out of that if statement, right? In case this will be false, the second one will be evaluated. If this will be true, this particular statement will be executed. Otherwise, if the first one is false, second one is false, we don't have to compare the third one. Immediately the third one will be getting executed. This is the beauty of if, else and if. The third part or third format, how if is used. How if is used, right? Okay. But sometime you need to see, the programmer need to decide when he or she should go for normal if, when he or she should go for if, else and then. That purely depends on the programmer, depends on the kind of the programming requirement. As per that, we can use it, right? Okay. So this is all about how we can use this one, right? But there may be time when we have a different set of requirements, right? When we might require if within a if. See, if you want, you can also switch like this. This will be again no problem at all. We can also write that, no problem. If you want to cross check, we can cross check, no problem at all. Happily we can say this is fine, right? Okay. Now the next requirement we have is, suppose we are in a process, listen very carefully, we are in a process to find out the second highest among the three numbers. Yes, you heard it right, second highest. Now observe carefully. This is the area where I can say, if I'll enter into this area, definitely this condition will be true. You will definitely agree with me. Or in other words, if the first test condition will be true, then only I can enter into this block, right? Okay. Now, if I'll ask you, inside this block, which one is highest? You'll say, sir, A is highest. I have three numbers initially. Suppose I have taken A as highest. So two numbers are remaining. One is B, one is C. So what can I do? I can write if B greater than C. If this is true, which one will be the second highest? Which one will be second highest? Of course, B will be the second highest, right? Otherwise, which will be the second highest? C will be the second highest. If you could able to understand this particular part, the remaining we'll discuss. Let me remove all those. Let me complete the first one. Let us understand this first part. See, this is condition 1, this is condition 2, right? And condition evaluation of condition 2 is purely depend on condition 1. If first condition will be true, then only second one will be evaluated. Otherwise, this part will never be evaluated, right? Okay. Now, if the first part will be true, the second part will be true, which statement is going to be executed? Of course, this one. So tell me, what is the condition when this particular statement will be executed? This particular statement will be executed. Yes, when it will be executed? If the first one is true, the second one is false. then this particular statement will be executed, right? Let us go for an example. Suppose the numbers are 40, 20 and 30. A is 40, B is 20, C is 30. Now, A greater than B is definitely true. A greater than C is definitely true. If I replace true and true, and will say, boss, no problem, this is true. And we know if true is, if the test evaluated to be true, the statements in the if block will be getting executed. What is the statement? The statement is like this. Again, one more if. Now it will try to find out among B and C which one is greater. B greater than C. No, B is not greater than C. So this one will be evaluated false. If this is false, the else part will be getting executed. That means we can say, sorry, here it should be written C. What will be the output? Definitely the output will be 30. Now you can, I hope you all could able to understand how this particular thing will be evaluated. This is 1, this is 2. I repeat, 2 is completely dependent on evaluation of 1. If 1 is true, then only 2 can be executed, right? And this kind of arrangement is called as nested if. Remember this point, nested if. In nested if, one if can be present within one more if. You can go for a number of nested ifs, if within if, within if, like that. But always remember, the inner if is always dependent on the outer if. If the outer if will be evaluated to true, then only the inner if will be executed, otherwise not. Make sure you understand this particular point. Clear? Okay. Now I hope we all are able to, yes, we all are able to understand this point. Now let us go for this. Suppose I am putting a semicolon here. A greater than B followed by A greater than C. I have written a put a semicolon there. Now what is going to happen? Can somebody tell me what will be the output of this program? This particular program, what will be the output of this particular program? A greater than B and A greater than C. I have terminated this one. Of course, this is completely valid. We have clearly discussed we can put this semicolon here, right? Now the question is, what will be the output of this particular program? Now this particular one, B greater than C. Now the question is, B greater than C, is it a part of the outer if? The answer is a big no. This is independent, this one is independent. Doesn't matter, the first condition will be true or false. Doesn't matter, simply doesn't matter. If can be present by itself. Now this if statement is completely different from the behavior of this one. Regardless of this is fine or not, what it will say, if B is greater than C, then this particular statement will be executed or this particular statement will be executed. No problem in that, right? So I'll definitely get 40, right? See, let us cross check. Suppose I am removing this one. If I remove this one, you know, A greater than B and A greater than C, this will be completely false. Since this particular one will be false, we don't have any else statement here. So nothing is going to happen, right? See, let us cross check, then we'll go for the semicolon part and all. Let us cross check. Code compiles fine. No output. As per the discussion, no output will be there, right? But by mistake, if I am putting a semicolon here, I definitely again I want to remind you, this is not an error. Compiler will be absolutely fine in compiling this one. But when I'm executing this one, see, the result is completely different. Because what exactly happened here? If is terminated completely here, and these are completely independent ifs. These if now not dependent on this one, right? So make sure whenever you are using if, whenever you are using if else, you make sure you got to know all these aspects, right? Now let us go to some other cases. We will get a very good conclusion here. Now suppose I am writing something like this. Make sure I am writing something like this. Fine? Okay. Now my question is, we know how many statement belongs to if? How many statements belongs to if I'm not writing a curly braces? You can happily say, sir, only one statement can be there in if. Right? Okay. Now, if my arrangement is like this, you heard it right. Can you please tell me this else will belongs to this if or this if? Yes, interesting part, interesting one. If I am writing like this, you know, else part is optional for every if. If I want, I can skip the else part. No problem at all. That means this if might contain an else or might not. Similarly, this if might contain an else or might not, right? Now, if my arrangement is like this, can somebody tell me what will be the output of this program? What will be the output of this particular program? Let me write in this way. Now you can tell me what will be the output of this particular program. Yes, please go on. Whether no output will be there or I'll get the output, whether there will be no output or I'll get the output as 40. Which one is true? Which one is true? Now you can say, sir, since you have you wrote else in the same indentation, this particular else belongs to if, isn't it? Yes, you are absolutely wrong. This is not the case. This is not the case. See, this is completely valid. You can write this one. The conclusion that we are going to make is completely false. Remember, if you find this kind of arrangement at any point of time, if there will be a curly bracket, definitely I don't have to guide you. You know what is the best one. If there will be no curly braces, I repeat, if there will be no curly braces, the else always belongs to the immediate if, not to any other if. The conclusion is else always belongs to the immediate if, not any other. So in that, doesn't matter where you have written, doesn't matter what exactly the indentation is. Indentation may be here, maybe right here, wherever it is, it could be. Always this else, this particular else will belongs to the immediate if. And which one is the immediate if? This particular one. Now this statement will only be executed if this one is false. Again, this one will only be executed if this one is true. Now my question is whether this is true or false. First one is true or false? 100% false. If first one is false, none of them will be going to be executed. Let us cross check. No output will be there as in such. But if I am writing like this, now can you please tell me what will be the output? Since we have terminated this if inside the curly braces, this else is now belongs to if. Now what is the immediate if for this else? This particular one. Now can you please tell me what will be the output? Yes, since this is false, which one is false? Since this one is false, immediately this part will be executed. So I'll get the value 40. Let us cross check. See what I'll get the value 40, right? So what we have discussed just now, we have discussed various aspects how if can be used and where I should be take care of, because if you are attending an interview, maximum time there might be a chance they can ask you such type of question, or whenever you are writing for your semester exams in the university or college level, there might be some MCQ. Can you please find out the output of this program? Now if you know all these things, you can happily say we can able to find out all the output where that is belongs to if and else, right? So we had made few conclusions. First conclusion we have made, semicolon is a valid one after the curly braces. That is absolutely fine. And if we are writing a if statement without any curly braces, make sure it can only contain one statement. If it contains two statements followed by else statement, immediately I am going to get a compiler error. Compiler will say misplaced else, because else can be written only immediately after the if block terminates. If in between any statement will be there, 100% sure we are going to get an error message. And we have seen different aspects of if and else, how if can be used, how if else and if arrangements are there, and we have also seen how if can be used in one more if, which we are calling as nested if, right? All these things we have very clearly discussed, and we have also seen what can be done and what are the different tricks to go through that, right? So let us go for few more examples, then we will conclude the session. Now suppose I am taking a variable int a is equal to 5 and int b is equal to 6, right? Now listen very carefully. I am writing here if I am starting a bracket here, a is equal to 1, double equals to b, right? So what I am writing is, I am writing here system dot out dot print or println followed by b. I just want to write one statement. If you want to put the curly bracket, that's fine. If you don't want to put the curly bracket, that is also fine. No problem in that. Then I am writing a else part. Here I want to write, let me copy this one. I want to write maybe plus a. Semicolon, you can bring the semicolon close to a closer, otherwise there will be no problem at all. Now can you please observe, can you please say what will be the output of this particular program? Do not execute, take a minute, calculate it and get back to the discussion. Take a minute, pause this video, take a minute, calculate with pen and paper, then resume that video. You can able to understand your answer is correct or your answer is wrong, right? Okay, I hope you have done that. Now let us discuss what will be the output of this program. Now the first question is whether this is a valid one or invalid one. First question. Second question, what will be the output? Now what are the rule for valid one? The valid one says the condition in the test part in the if block or in the if, it should be a boolean value. Doesn't matter that is a compile time constant or a variable constant, doesn't matter, but it should produce a boolean value. Now the question is whether it will produce a boolean value or not. If you know the precedence of operators, which one will be executed first? The thing that is enclosed within bracket. So now value of a will be 1. So that means if I am writing like this, it will be replaced like 1 double equals to b. Whether this is true or false, let us cross check. 1 b is 6. That means at runtime it will be written like this. 1 double equals to 6. Is it true? No, it's false. Since it is false, which one will be getting executed? This particular one will be getting executed. Now if I am writing plus a, again prefix increment, arithmetical increment operator. Here increment will be done first, then it will be used, right? Now before getting into this line, what was the value of a? Value of a is replaced with 1. So value of a is 1 now. So plus a will take me to 2. So happily I'll get the value what? 2. I hope you all could able to understand this scenario, right? Let us cross check. Code compiles fine. See, the output is 2. So evaluating if else is not a big deal. Only thing you need to be very careful when calculating the things, right? Now with one more question, let us conclude the session. In the next session we will again concentrating on some more control flow statements, right? Now the question is, Let us input a number. Let us write a number. I am taking a number, month equals to 3. So my question is, can you please print the name of the month from this one? If I write month equal to 3, definitely it will come out like 3 means March, something like that. So you will say, sir, what we can do, we can go like this. If month equals to 1, you know what I have to write. I have to write, I am not writing the full one, system.out.print followed by January, right? This is the first case. What is the second case? Again, the second case is if month equals to 2, then we should go for February. And like that, we have to write how many? Up to 12, right? So this is the simple way we can do this. But don't you think if the number of options, number of possible options increased, the complexity of the program become more and more and more if you are using if? That doesn't mean if is not a good choice. Of course, if is a good choice. But there are few cases where this if can be replaced with one more control flow statements. And this is the case. This is the case where we can replace this if with some more control flow statements. That is none other than your switch. That is none other than your switch. So in the next session, next video, we'll take a broader look at switch. Remember, switch is again a selection statement, but if you compare the switch that has been there in Java JDK 1.4 version, and if you compare this one with 16, the difference is huge. Now switch is improved more into functionality. The syntax is always changed, the functionality is always changed. So we have a new improved version of switch. So in the next video, we'll not only concentrate on the normal switch statement, we will also concentrate on switch at its best, or switch or the modified switch which is there up to Java 14, right? With that note, let us conclude this session. I'll definitely suggest all of you, please practice all these programs that we have just discussed, and you can also generate few questions. You can randomly go for semicolon, randomly go for colon, whatever the thing you can do, and you can finally come to the conclusion why the exact output will be like that, right? Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. In the next video, as per the discussion, we'll go for switch. Thank you so much.